All right, so today I'm going to go through the 3 problems you were supposed to do for homework last week. So they were assigned last Wednesday and due last Thursday. And I know that some people had questions, so I figured I would just show you guys how I do this. Okay, so the first question that we're going to do is number 2 on your sheet. So it says calculate the cost of gasoline for a 420-mile trip if your car averages 20 miles per gallon of gas and the gas costs 95 cents per gallon. So there's a lot of information given to us in this statement, but the first one that I'm going to look at is this one. So it's saying calculate the cost. And this is really telling me what my wanted unit is. So if I'm calculating the cost, that probably means that my wanted unit, what I'm trying to solve for, is money or dollars. It also gives me, some more information. It gives me some conversion factors here. So it tells me that 20 miles per gallon of gas. So I can actually turn this into a conversion factor. So 20 miles is equal for my car to 1 gallon of gas. And then it also gives us another conversion factor saying that each gallon is going to cost 95 cents. So I can set those equal to each other. I like to call them equal statements as well. So if I say that, it is the same thing as a conversion factor. All right, so the only thing that's left here is my 420 miles, and this is going to be my given. So this is what I'm going to be starting out with in my problem. So if I set up dimensional analysis, I have 420 miles as my start. Now I set up dimensional analysis a little bit different. I use a grid. The grid is the same thing as fraction. So I could also set it up like this and do it in fractions. It's just that I have always done it in this grid pattern, so I'm going to keep doing it that way so I don't get too confused. All right. Okay, back to my pen. Okay, so we're starting with 420 miles, and from there we want to convert to dollars. So I do not have a conversion factor that goes from miles to dollars. However, I can go through another unit because I know that 20 miles is equal to a gallon and also 95 cents is equal to a gallon. So the first conversion factor that I'm going to use here, I'm going to have my 20 miles, because this is the only one with miles that I would be able to cancel out, is equal to 1 gallon. So remember that when you're doing dimensional analysis or factor label method, that the only way that units cancel out is if you have one on the top and one on the bottom. And I really want miles to cancel out, so I'm going to put the 20 miles part on the bottom and my 1 gallon on the top here. All right, so my miles cancel out. All right, now I have this other conversion factor that's going to take me from gallons to our cost or our money or our dollar symbol. So I'm going to put 1 gallon on the bottom so that it cancels. And then I'm going to put my 95 cents on the top. And really my unit here is going to be this dollar symbol. All right, when I type this into my calculator, keep in mind that you're always going to multiply the top. So multiply the top, these are all multiplied, and then divide by the bottom. So when I type this into my calculator, I'm going to put 420 times 1 times 95.95 divided by 20 divided by 1. So everything on the bottom gets divided by. All right, and when you put this into a calculator and you round it, it would be about 19.95. So it's saying that it would cost me $19.95 for a 420-mile trip given my car. All right. Okay, the next example says that Harold's car has a fuel efficiency of 35 miles per gallon and Kumar's car has a fuel efficiency of 12 kilometers per liter. Determine whose gets better gas mileage, Harold or Kumar. All right, so they're giving us a couple different conversion factors here. They also give us two givens. So I know that I either have to get Harold's fuel efficiency to equal kilometers per liter, or I have to get Kumar's fuel efficiency to equal miles per gallon if I really want to compare those two cars. So I'm going to do it both ways. Feel free to skip ahead or go to which one that you tried. So I'm going to start off with Harold's, so miles per gallon. All right, this was my given. All right, and I want to get to kilometers per liter. So I'm going to start here, 35 miles per 1 gallon. All right, now my miles is distance. All right, so my miles, remember, I have to turn into kilometers, and my gallon is volume, which I'm going to have to turn into liters. So you can start with either one of these conversion factors. It really doesn't matter which one you start with. If I wanted to start with this one, my 1 gallon would have to go on the top so that my gallons cancel out, and then my 3.785 liters would go on the bottom. All right, then I would use my other conversion factor to cancel out miles and get to kilometers or kilometers. So I'm going to put my 1 mile on the bottom so that my miles cancel out, and my 1.609 kilometers on the top. All right, remember that you're going to multiply across the top and divide by the bottom. When you do that for this one, you should get about 14.88 kilometers per liter. Now, I could stop there because I can just take this value and compare it to my 12 kilometers per liter that Kumar gets. And obviously, Harold, with his 14.88 kilometers, is going to get better gas mileage than Kumar does. If you solved it the other way, I can do that as well. So in this case, I'm starting, so this was number 1. Let's say this is what I wanted. All right. And this is number 2. All right, so I could also do this. I could start with 12 kilometers per liter, so 1 liter. If I wanted to start with this one, conversion factor again, keep in mind that my liters have to cancel out because I want to convert to gallons. 1 gallon. All right, with this then, my kilometers, I'm going to have to convert to miles with this second conversion factor. So my kilometers would go on the bottom so that they cancel. And then my 1 mile would go up top. So my liters cancel. I forgot to cross that out. I am left then with miles per gallon. And when I do that on my calculator, I get about 28.22 miles per gallon. So I can look at this and then also compare that to Harold's, which got 35 miles per gallon. So if I wanted to determine who got the better gas mileage, either way that you do it, you find out that Harold is going to have a car with better gas mileage. All right, here's a pretty complex one. So it says, while fixing his car, Will Ferrell cut his arm. He realized that he wanted to watch his favorite episodes of the 80s show, The A-Team, before he went to the hospital to get stitches. If his blood were pumped out of his body at a rate of 0.75 milliliters per 5 seconds, determine how many quarts of blood he would lose if he waited 3 days to go to the hospital. It gives us some conversion factors saying that a liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters and a quart is equal to 0.94 liters. So here they're giving us a bunch of information again. They gave us that we have this 0.75 milliliters per 5 seconds. I want to determine how many quarts of blood in 3 days. So quarts of blood in 3 days. So that is what I am going to want to find out. So my quarts is going to be my wanted unit. All right, so I'm going to start here actually with the 3 days in the hospital, and I'm going to convert that because I know that I have seconds in one of my givens that I can use as a conversion factor. I'm going to convert my 3 days to seconds right away. So that's what I'm going to do first. So 3 days. All right, I know that 1 day has 24 hours. I know that 1 hour has 60 minutes. And I know that 1 minute has 60 seconds. So at this point, we canceled out those 3 days that he waited to go to the hospital. We got 2 seconds. And now we can use our conversion factor. Remember that this is also saying 0.75 milliliters equals 5 seconds. So that would be the next conversion factor that I would use. My seconds would have to go on the bottom so that they cancel. And then my 0.75 milliliters would go up top. All right, now I have these given conversion factors that they gave me. I have to remember get to quarts because that is what I want as my unit. So right now I'm in milliliters. I need to get to quarts. The only way I can do that is through the liter. So if I am looking at these two conversion factors, this is the one that I'm going to want to use first so that I can cancel out those milliliters. So I would put the 1,000 milliliters at the bottom, my 1 liter on the top, and then I could use my other conversion factor to cancel out my liters and get to my quarts. So 0.946 liters would go on the bottom so that my liters cancel out, and then my 1 quart would go on the top. All right, so at this point, everything cancels out except for quarts, which is what I want. So if I calculate this, I believe that you get about 41.2. All right, so 41.2 quarts of blood. All right, so 41.2 quarts of blood you would lose in 3 days. It says, if the human body can only hold 6 quarts of blood, will Will Ferrell be okay? Why or why not? Well, no, he will not. He would have died a long time ago. All right, so if you have any questions on any of these examples, feel free to ask them. I think it's kind of like a puzzle. You always want to cancel out the unit that you were given to get to the unit that you want. So it depends on what you are measuring, obviously. If you're measuring distance, you want to get to the correct distance unit that you want to get to. If you're measuring volume, you know, they're going to give you a volume to start with, and you want to get to the volume that you want at the end. So I think it's really fun to do dimensional analysis, and I hope you do too.